All right, everybody looked the consent agenda over.
Motion to approve?
A second. Motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Okay, first up, Lynn Detmer, you're gonna stand in for Cheryl
I am.
on Someone To initiative.
I have a handout. Can I?
Yes, come on up.
There's just some good visuals in here that I don't want you to miss. Whoops, sorry about that.
Yeah, I get it.
Right, here. Have them.
Thank you, Lynn.
Yes, Lynn, Director of Redevelopment with 712 Initiative. Most of you are probably fairly familiar with us, but community activities, engaging the community, and redeveloping sites within, how can we reuse land that we have, buildings that we have. And so this is just kind of an update of where we've been the last year to keep you guys informed. But we have community events, of course. Shamrock Shuffle's coming up in March, Celebrate CB in May, along with Clean Sweep, and then our other events that we have throughout the year. Our biggest piece recently here is the Cohen Building at 530 West Broadway. It just finished construction, $6.4 million total project cost. We have 18 residential units and 3 commercial bays in there. 1 commercial bay is still for lease, and we are 77% rented up on the residential side. MP Dodge believes will probably be fully leased up end of March. So super exciting. And good diversity of age that we've seen in the building, so that's kind of cool.
Hey, Lynn, what will be the ownership of this building?
We will continue to own it. And some of that will come back to operations for us, so. Let's see, our next project is 12 Scott Street, which is just north of 530 West Broadway. We're getting really close to having that funding completed, having that fundraised, and that is an $8.1 million project. Inflation has taken a toll on that one, but that will have 23 residential units, and we're hoping to start construction this summer. So, and after that, we have some South Main lots that we've owned for 18 years. That we're working on an RFP for architectural services to look at some townhomes or possibly apartments. We need to talk to the city a little bit more about what they envision there. But that's at South Main and Worth, and South Main and 9th.
Empty lots?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
The next page is 2117 Fifth Avenue. This is one of 2 homes we were able to receive from the county through the tax certificate process. So you have the before and after there. It's a great house, great layout, 4 bedrooms, 2 bath. It was a mess. This has been sold, but it had 2 foundation walls that were rebuilt. It needed a beam to support the structure, all new roof, siding, insulation, kitchen, baths, and MEPs. So it's a really great house, and that was sold in end of December.
What's MEP?
So the electrical, plumbing, mechanical.
Okay.
Susan, this is the one I spoke to you about the other day. And the next one is the other one I spoke to you about.
Yep, and the second one is 706 South 3rd Avenue that we received, and it had sat vacant for 10 years. It was not real great to even walk through the house. We demolished that one and have come back with new construction. 4 bed, 2 bath, 2 car garage that is under the house, which is a really cool setup. This is actually pre-sold, should be finished April 1st and closed then. So super exciting, yeah, to see that. It's similar size, good fit in that neighborhood. So, and the housing program itself has been really cool in the fact of who we've been able to partner with and leverage. We have had a lot of volunteers, from kids to retired to a neat way to provide opportunities in that realm, but also, what contractors have been able to provide. And then we have a neat partnership with West Pot Master Gardeners that come in with their expertise and put a little curb appeal on the house. So, and so once Third Avenue is sold, that will be 10 properties we have completely renovated and sold back for owner-occupied housing. Great successful program. It does cost money. We're selling them at a loss, as you know, and so looking for additional ways to keep that program going. So
Even the new one you sold at a loss?
yeah, it was pre-sold. I think we sold it in November, and even if you look at the market, it's changed quite a bit. It probably would have been a higher price now, or suggested higher price now, but so.
Okay.
So, and I know you said, Lynn, those lots on, their lots down there on,
South Main, Worth, and 9th Avenue.
yeah. You what with those?
So we are currently working on an RFP to get architectural services to do a design for either townhomes or apartment units. As conversation we also need to have with the city, what they envision there also, but what that use becomes and what that looks like. But they're a quarter of a block, so they're little guys. So what is the best use and how much can we get on there? So
Will you have retail in that or anything?
if they're it depends what we do, and if it's apartments opposed to townhomes, maybe.
Okay.
So too early to know that,
Okay.
but it's a consideration.
All right.
So, and then just last note too, land bank legislation is going through the state again too, and we're very interested in that and how that can benefit our community, and so like to be part of that conversation too when it gets to that point. So, yeah, questions for me?
Yes, this is the first time, I'm not familiar with your organization. So, first of all, this is what you do? You just renovate properties for resale?
So our larger scope is activating downtown. So that's through our events, Farmers Market, Shamrock Shuffle, bringing people downtown.
Okay.
Then how getting people to live downtown, providing spaces that they can then, so it's adding to the activity and people living while they're going to events and vice versa. And as we used to assist developers in doing these big use, mixed use developments, and some of these are, like the Cohen Building is really tight on the numbers, and no one would have done it but a nonprofit in 712. And so that is something that's our first project we've taken beginning to end, and will continue to own.
Okay.
So,
So your supporters must have deep pockets, because what organization can operate at a loss?
so it's just the housing program specifically that is at a loss, just because the improvements needed on the houses is more than what market sale price is. And so trying to provide a quality product for someone, we want to go that extra step, I guess, to provide that quality piece. But we do have some grant and some donors that have supported that.
I always thought Council Bluffs had areas that should never have been developed. It's hills about this steep, those
Yes.
kinds of things. Council Bluffs has a lot of properties that need rebuilt, for lack of a better word. But how many of these house projects have you done totally?
By April 1st, we will have completed and sold 10.
10.
So we are 3 years in.
Okay.
We're still
All right,
learning
all
a
right,
lot.
all right.
And our focus is, or our preference is to renovate the house, but sometimes it's too far gone. We like to renovate, you're saving material, you're keeping the fabric of the neighborhood, the size consideration, but sometimes you just gotta start new.
Now, do you consider your buyers, maybe disabled, veterans, homeless veterans, or any of those kinds of things that you consider when selling a house, or not, or just open market?
It's been open market to date, but typically the houses sell from anywhere from 120 to, and now the new construction is 225, so they're lower than some. Still somewhat affordable. We've had some down payment assistance that then was LMI restricted, but we haven't specifically marketed to veterans or disabled, but those are considerations, disabilities are a consideration sometimes with renovations.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Questions?
I'd have a couple. Jeff, I'd be happy to talk with you about this program.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
The two houses that, the county abated the taxes on, one had property taxes due of $70,000. The house was probably worth $5,000. The other one was 40, and that one might have been worth 10. So, I mean, there was nobody else that was gonna come in and take those taxes on, and I'm giving them to a, Matt's still here, to a private person, not gonna work, so it's really been a good thing for us. So,
Put it back on the tax rolls.
yeah, so now it's paying taxes. Lynn, just three real quick ones. Are you still active on the, tax sale properties that aren't being?
I have not looked at it recently, but would like to.
The property that you have on South Eighth, how are you doing on that?
So that, I believe, is getting painted. MEPs are close, are done. So it's about 2 to 3 months out, 2 months out,
Before it's sold?
before it's listed.
That's awesome. How about the one on High Street?
That's,
Sorry,
nope, that's a distance out yet. Nope, there are several things that had to be done to make it just sound secure, to get, other subs in. And so we're just now really getting into, the MEPs, so,
Okay,
hopefully 6 months, so. And then also my contact information is on that back page, always happy to talk, so let me know.
Any more questions? Comments? Lynn, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, guys.
Really appreciate it. Good job. Okay, Matt Wyatt, Director of Planning and Development. Discussion and or decision to authorize chairman to sign amended final plat Schmitz Creek Phase 2.
Yes, hello. We had already brought in the final plating for Smiths Creek. Phase 2, it is 3 lots up on, directly on Badger Avenue. This is for a minor subdivision. When they went to go draw the final plats on, they noticed that there was an error in them. And so the error's been corrected, and now we're bringing it back to re-sign them so they can get re-recorded.
It went from 4 lots to 3.
No, there's more lots in phase 1. Phase 2 is 3 lots.
Okay.
do you want a motion for that, Brian? I'll make that.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
I'll second.
Any questions? Comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Same signal. Let's go. Oh, I need that.
So are the lots in phase 1 sold already then?
I believe they're selling all the lots to one individual home.
Really?
I saw them up there serving.
To one building?
Yeah, I believe so. That's what it sounds like.
Oh,
More?
Yeah.
You know, Pam, when Pam does this, she's really good at it.
It is. Last little one.
There's that.
Thank you. Melvin, do you want to step over here and sign these real quick?
Your pen?
Yep.
Okay, we'll move on. John Rasmussen, an engineer. Discussion and or decision to approve and authorize board to sign resolution number 2023 to amend the secondary roads county 5-year program. John?
Sure, so every year we do the 5-year program, we'll be doing that in April 15th when that's due. Got to make some amendments this year to rearrange some funding, so it's not like it's costing us extra on moving projects between years. So you'll see a list of projects up there. The bridge replacements I'm moving into this year. Dumfries and 240th Street, when we started that project, we were doing paving 240th from the county line to Highway 92, so I had to change those project descriptions. Then the first priority year, Magnolia Road, Underwood there, I needed to change the funding type in the project description there for the RACE grant. So if you pass a resolution, I'll change the 5-year program and file it with the state, get you a copy.
Need a motion?
Well, I just, a question, this resolution reads accomplishment year, and then has,
Accomplishment year is the fiscal year we're in, so that's
okay,
through July. Then the first priority year starts in July, moving forward.
and then that's the estimated amount of money on the, under the accomplishment year then?
Yes.
Okay.
So then, to kind of follow up on what Scott brought up, you're gonna have the 240th Street paving done this year?
When I just have to have it in there to do the letting. I have to have it programmed when I let it, then if it all occurs in that year, it doesn't matter at that point.
Does seal coating ever become part of your 5-year plan?
No, it doesn't. These are all federal and state funds. Seal coat's done locally. So these are all outside funds. Well, the bridge replacements aren't. Those are, have to be recorded differently.
Need a motion to approve or disapprove?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Questions, comments? Okay, Melvin, will you do a roll call?
Sure. Chairman Shea,
Yes.
Supervisors Belt,
Aye.
Wickman,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
and Jorgensen.
Aye.
Okay, John. Moving on. This 2080 cooperative agreement for participating in rebuilding America infrastructure and sustainability equity grant, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So Magnolia Road, we just changed in this resolution. We started that project as a RISE grant, failed in the RISE. Now we're going for a raise. Yeah, I don't make these things up. So that's a federal grant. And the state of Iowa is doing one group grant for 25 million. We're one of 9 counties in that proposal. Clay County is the lead county. So the 2080s, so we can cooperate with other counties, we'll have approximately $20,000 in consulting fees to make this application. HDR is kind of leading us through it.
You feel better about this one?
I feel pretty good about this one actually, and we're in for this 4.4 million total.
What's the total on that project?
5.5.
5.5.
So, then Tino already got $1.5 million, so we're actually, if we get this, we're gonna have to give some grant money back somewhere, so. That's a different problem to have, but
Be a good problem to have.
I don't know that we're nationally competitive either, so I guess we'll wait and see.
Okay.
So do those grant funds come pre, construction, or is it, you gotta submit and get?
There'll be a reimbursement, so they'll come to the DOT, then, just like I program federal funds through the DOT, this just be they'll give me a different project number, and so the money will just hit the DOT and never come to us directly, and I'll spend from it.
They'll pay the invoices.
Yeah.
DOT will.
So, yeah, that'll go to them, then this grant will be 80% of the project cost, so we'll have to come up with 20% ourselves, which, we got that covered pretty easily on this one anyway, so.
Okay.
John, will you explain to me the duties of being the lead county?
I think they just had to have one organization that's ultimately responsible to the feds, so there's a little more interaction. I guess it's got their name on it at the end of the day. HDR is actually doing all the work to get it there, so.
So does it go from the federal government to the state government to Clay County to Pot County?
No, it'll just go to the DOT. So if we don't do our paperwork right, then it's on Clay, I guess, county as far as the application goes. To the feds, it's 25 million. They don't really care about the other counties in it. I haven't been through the process, but that's how I envision it.
Yeah, this is new to me.
Yeah.
It's new to all of us. Yeah, it's quite confusing actually. But
So we don't have to ask Clay County for permission to do anything?
no, it'll be at the DOT. We'll never see these funds locally, Clay or Potawatomi. We'll just spend from it like we do other federal funds.
John, do you have help with these grant writing applications? I mean, is this something that's part of your job? This is what you do? Or do you have help with that? Or do you contract that out to professional services? I'm curious because I'm not sure what the,
I'm not sure either. So grants maybe 3 years ago wasn't really something we chased. There wasn't a lot out there. And now that these dropped with that infrastructure bill, we're trying to feel it out. But I just don't know. I don't know if Potawatomi County, Iowa is going to get money from the federal government for a project.
okay.
You know, I feel good about the application. There's a ton of work in it, and there's only been one application from Iowa of this type. So in those regards, I feel good about it, but I would need more staff to do this, but I really want to feel it out and see if it's something that we can be successful on before making that ask.
I'm starting to learn a lot about the grant process and about grant funds that are available. There's a lot of money out there in various grants. And I'm actually talking to people who do this for a profession. And, you know, looking at ways, well, what can Potawatomi County benefit by certain grants or applying for grants, that kind of thing. And, you know, again, I'm just looking at maybe contracting that out to a professional. In the end, you don't pay anything unless you get a grant, those kinds of things. Again, I don't know if you kind of indicated you would like to have a little help with these grant writing processes, or that, because this is probably going to be an ongoing thing, is that right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be our future.
Okay.
It kind of has to change how we do stuff in the office. The problem with hiring somebody like HDR is doing it now, I mean, I get a couple panicky emails a day about what I need to do, and they got me on a timeline. It's still a tremendous amount of, I mean, they're organized and they know what I need to do, but I still have to do the work, so I'm just hopefully learning from them, I guess.
Right.
what I
The
need to do.
city of Trainer, the little town of Trainer is putting in a water slide facility. I mean, it's a multi-million-dollar project. All of that is grant money, and I was talking to the person who basically headed up that grant writing process, and she's a professional writes grants as a profession. She must be good at it because Trainer is looking to have this facility up and running in 2 or 3 years, kind of in phases, but several $1 million. And you know, it wasn't the city that did it or the government agency that did it. It was outside help, professional help that did this. And I was impressed. I was impressed with her efforts. So I'm just asking you.
Yeah, we're always looking for more help. I just don't know. You'll see the NOFOs, the notice of funding opportunities come out just about every month and a half through this winter, and it's just hard trying to keep up or get ahead, but.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Need a motion to approve for this raise grant.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to approve. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, John. Jason Slack, Director, Buildings and Grounds, discussion and/or decision on courthouse parking lot reconstruction project preliminary options of cost on pay to park or free parking. Jason, you're up.
Well, I was asked to get this back on the agenda. And since our last meeting, HGM was able to put together this preliminary opinion of cost, one for paid parking and one for pay to park.
Did we?
Or
get
one's
that
for
in our
free
packet?
parking, one's for pay to park.
Did we get that in our packet?
Yeah, it should have been in your
I
packet.
didn't get
I
it.
didn't, no, I didn't get it. I don't think any of us did.
Yeah, I have a copy of it here.
That's what we need up.
I just have one
Thank you.
copy.
Okay.
Oh, Garfield.
So the difference in the cost was,
Hold on a minute, Jace, let's let,
okay,
Yeah, it'd be nice to have something in front of us.
should have been in there.
How you doing, Ben?
okay, I'm sorry, Brian.
Oh, no, that's okay.
You can move it.
Go ahead.
I have some questions.
Yes.
The lot is currently asphalt. Is there any plans to concrete it?
Yeah, that's what we're getting ready to do. We're gonna concrete the whole thing, 7 inches.
Okay.
It needs to be redone because it's been built up so many different times. We're at a curb, so.
I think last week in the discussion, you were talking about having to re-asphalt it and
Yeah.
stripe it every year, and
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was,
No, we're moving away from that, so we'll have a concrete lot. In prior years, that's what we used the parking meter money for, was to, to compensate for the parking lot maintenance that we had to do.
Thanks.
Two pages or?
I got two
two
here.
pages.
Two?
I got two.
Melvin get one?
Yeah, if you got an extra, and I'll.
Yeah.
You can, just got sent down. Thank you. Okay.
So the difference in the preliminary opinion of cost between the free parking and the pay for park is $269,000. And I guess I'm just here to get the board's direction on which way to pursue.
What's the monument sign, Jason?
That's a sign out front that's gonna replace our little post and board sign that says Pottawatomie County Courthouse. This one will have the flamin' P on it, and it'll have the Pottawatomie County. It's like a brick sign that would match the courthouse.
Is it gonna have, some electronics in it where some ads can play or something?
It's gonna be lit up to just say Pottawatomie County
For
Courthouse.
$70,000.
Yeah, I thought that was kinda high too when I seen it itemized out.
I mean, they should play movies on Thursday night for that kind of money.
They're 300,000 for digital. Or a reader board.
Oh, is it really?
The free parking, you wouldn't have anything, you wouldn't have meters, poles, anything, it'd just be concrete.
Yeah, and we do save money there because we're not putting in that fence with the ornamental fence with the monument columns on it. That would be out. So it would open the parking lot up. So you could come in from Pearl Street and you could actually exit onto Fifth Avenue from there.
All right.
So it would just be more of an open
I'm
concept.
just asking, could
What-
you, go ahead.
What kind of time will we have an employee being out there messing with this kiosk?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it just depends on how often, that's just hard to tell,
There's concerns about people parking in the parking lot for a long period of time.
right?
How do we patrol that if we go free?
If we go free parking, we would have to monitor via video surveillance.
And
If
you
we know-
mentioned last week having additional cameras
Yeah.
for that purpose or for security purposes.
You could hire a lot of meter maids for $269,000, right? In my opinion.
For a few years, then you're broke.
Okay, but you still have maintenance and all that other stuff too, the automated, I'm just throwing it out there, I don't know. I'm not a parking lot expert by any means.
Me neither.
Well, everybody that uses this parking lot is coming in to the courthouse to write a check. Basically, that's what you're doing.
The courts upstairs, they're really busy on 2 or 3 days a week. They have people coming in that, for, I don't know, all kinds of crimes and speeding tickets and that kind of stuff. And, not necessarily have to be from Potawatomi County. I agree with the direction you're going. It's kind of hard for me to ask someone that's gonna come in and pay their property taxes, oh, give me a couple of bucks for parking too. You know, if we can, I like having the kiosk option, and then they can get a ticket verification code or something from the treasurer, the auditor,
Whoever they're meeting
whoever, to get them out. I don't have any issues at all with that, Susan. I'm just afraid that, if we give it 100% free parking, no gates, no kiosk, no nothing, no parking meters,
It'll be abused.
our team will spend all day making sure that, people aren't just coming here and parking and taking up stalls for people who are coming here for a service. I know this is being recorded, but, we had that issue with when the police were next door over here. You know, they weren't supposed to be parking in the lot. They all parked their personal vehicles in, I shouldn't say it that way. Some parked their personal vehicles in the lot. And, and there was judges and supervisors and everybody that just waived tickets, and it just didn't work. So I think if we,
How many parking spots do we have?
I believe there's 62.
62?
And then there's 4 handicap parking that
Yeah,
are
we're-
outside the gated area,
Yes,
that are free parking.
as of right now, yes.
So we'll have people parking in those spots just so they can run into the courthouse real quick when they're not eligible for the parking.
they, they might not be able to run in real quick, but,
Well, they'll have,
That's a pretty hefty fine anymore for parking in handicap, isn't it?
I'm not sure what a handicap parking is. I know that the tickets that we write currently are $15.
For parking, but do we write the tickets ourselves?
Maintenance department does.
And then for handicap, is it the same? If there's
No,
a
that would be,
violation?
a deputy would write that ticket and it would probably be more. I don't know what that is.
I think they're pretty hefty anymore.
So the ticket that you write presently now, the $15 ticket, do we have a county ordinance for that then?
I'm not sure. We write the ticket, get the license plates number on there, and then we turn it into the treasurer's office.
Treasurer's office?
And then I think it only affects them when they come in to register the vehicle. Then they can't register their vehicle until they pay that fine.
Fine.
So if it's a non-resident, it probably doesn't affect them too much.
we set aside $1 million for this.
If we were to go free, maybe we would up that fine.
We could. I would, if we went free, I would propose that we put a sign out front, before you enter the parking lot that says parking for courthouse patrons only. All unauthorized vehicles will be towed at the owner's expense.
2 hour or something?
I don't know that we could do a 2-hour limit I guess we'd have to discuss that.
I do a lot of parking out in the back on the 100 block. And there's signs out there. I mean, business owners have their spaces that they've got posting up there. This is for use for whatever, the haircutting salon or whatever. And I'm gonna say this, usually that is honored. I guess I haven't seen it or been aware of a problem downtown anyway. All it is signs that were, this is for handicap parking, this is for patron parking of a business. I haven't noticed a problem with that. People tend to be honorable enough if they're not supposed to park there, they don't park there. That's just me, what I noticed personally. I don't know. But you been monitoring this parking lot for, I don't know, how many years? Several years?
6 years now.
So free parking would be a problem, in your opinion?
No, honestly, I think that we could, I like the free parking option only because it's easier for maintenance on us.
Okay.
It's easier to take care, we plan on taking over the snow removal next year. It would be a lot easier to do the snow removal on that lot with no parking meters in it and less curbs. Other than that, it would be a constant surveillance thing where we would have to watch the parking lot and ensure that there's no employees parking out there. If we notice a car that's been sitting there for, a day or so, figure out, who got out of that car and where'd they go, type of thing, and then it would be called a tow truck company.
I would say this, I think you're right, post a big sign out there, this parking lot is available only to patrons who are in business in the courthouse. Big sign, make people aware when they first drive in there. And I think most people would be honorable, would honor that posting, in my opinion.
I have noticed that the parking lot hasn't been as full since the PD moved out. That's one thing I can't say.
You'll start running into problems every Tuesday that there's a jury trial, because you'll have 100 people rolling in, and they're told that they park in the free lot by the VA, but if you have a free lot here, I'm just telling you, I guarantee you, it will be full. You'll have no parking spaces. I'm not saying that's every Tuesday, but every Tuesday that there is a trial that's called in, I guarantee you, your parking lot will be full.
Along.
I don't care how you handle it, I'm just letting you know that, that is,
Yeah.
that is absolutely gonna happen.
Well, that's not the only day they have court.
I'm just saying, that's just jurors, that's
Yeah.
not other folks.
I mean, that would totally take up the whole parking lot. So and probably the parking meters around the courthouse. So there'd be no place to park if you want to come in and get a license plate or pay your taxes.
Yeah, the jurors don't wanna plug meters, so, and they can't during trial, which is why they don't park there now. But if they're.
But they're instructed to park at the VA?
Yes. I feel like they bought the parking lot, they paid for it, they're coming in here to do business. We do the right signage. I feel that we shouldn't charge out there. It'd be easier for you guys. We're gonna have a certain amount of money in it no matter what. And the amount of money you're saying is maybe 25,000 a year?
Is there anything, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I was gonna say for 269,000, and then a upkeep charge, and then to monitor it anyway. I think we're gonna see a long time before we get a payback on this.
Is there anything from the free parking estimate that we would have to add to it if we do have problems a year from now or 2 years and we decide to put a kiosk in? To add the underground wiring or have that stuff already done so we're not having to tear up the concrete to do something if we.
Yeah, I mean, we would have a couple different options. I don't know if we would go, at that point with an arm in a kiosk in the center of the driveway, or would we go to something like downtown Omaha has where you have a kiosk off to the side where people pay and then put a ticket in their windshield. Or, there's the option of parking meters where all it is core drilling holes for the parking meter that would run on the Wi-Fi in the parking lot. I mean, that's an option too. So there are options that we can do down the road if it doesn't work.
But if this 512,000 price tag would increase to add that infrastructure in now.
Yeah, it would, no, well, there isn't a lot of infrastructure that would go with the parking meters in the kiosk. So either one of those options, there isn't any really infrastructure that we would have to put in. If we were wanting to go with the arm in the kiosk in the center of the driveway, they would probably have to cut the concrete, and run some wire underneath the ground there. So, yeah, that would be a little extra cost.
Scott?
I guess, looking at these, it says engineer 60% opinion of probable construction cost. And then he's got a 15% contingency. So how close is he on these numbers?
Yeah, the drawings are 60% done, that's what that 60% is. We're at 60% and they won't go any farther with any of the plans until we know what we're gonna do. Otherwise, we're paying for 2 sets of prints. And then the contingency, I think, is just for some unforeseen stuff, if we run into some utilities or something we didn't know about that are in that parking lot.
Jason, have you had many cars towed from the lot?
I've never towed anything from the metered lot. I have towed from the elections building parking lot like 4 or 5 times now.
No, okay.
I don't look at this as a payback. I look at this as an opportunity to provide free parking for our people and still have some control over the lot. If you don't put a kiosk in and you don't have people take a ticket where they can get their security code to get back out after they pay their taxes, I think we're going to have a mess down the road. I really do. And if you think that 269,000 now will be 269,000 in about 3 or 4 years when you've got a mess out there, and you've got employees walking out there to check to see if the car's been parked there too long and have people towed. I think it's a mistake, but that's just me.
I mean, we could go for the paid for parking with the arm and still have it be free for courthouse patrons. They would just get validated at the kiosks
That's
inside
what I'm talking about.
too, so.
So how would that work?
You'd get a ticket or,
Right, you get a ticket when you come in?
yeah, and you go validate it inside the courthouse, and then that way you get out of the parking lot for free.
You validate it with what?
There'll be a kiosk inside the lobby there.
Okay,
It's like getting a car wash after you wash your
You,
car, or after you gas up.
I think we talked about this before, but you mentioned some of the problems. Okay, so they would take credit cards in, maybe cash,
Well,
and then you're already in there and your credit card has zero balance and you don't have any cash on you and your cars are behind you. I mean,
these are the unknowns.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Mark, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I was just curious, have you looked at like, license plate readers, Jason? I know that's.
Yeah, that's something we've talked about, the LPR.
Yeah, I was just thinking, reading the plate coming in, and noting a time, if you have a time limit that you can be in the parking lot, say 2 hours, if it goes beyond that time limit, before they kind of exit the lot, reading the plate again, then someone could get notified. And
Yeah.
you wouldn't have to monitor it, you'd be told that someone's in there longer than they should be.
That's true.
I don't know.
There is some
Could be expensive
analytics, there is some analytics that we can add to the current security, the video surveillance right now. That would,
sounds like a plan to me, right?
that would do that.
Okay.
The LPR technology is kind of expensive. I know that they're incorporating some of that out to sheriff's office, and I think that they were possibly talking about using some of that here, so, you know, if you get a stolen vehicle or somebody that has a warrant that pulls in, things like that, you would know right away.
You know, Jeff, if you didn't have a balance on your credit card, your gate's probably not gonna open. You don't have to worry about getting out.
If you steal my billfold, I know exactly where to find you, about 2 miles outside of town out of gas, because my credit cards have zero balance.
Okay. Well, does anybody want to make any kind of motion on this? Or we need to give him direction?
I'll move, we move forward with the kiosk option. And then, I would request in that motion also to, give us a, some kind of a sketch or a plan for that sign for 60,000. I don't know if we need to spend 60,000 on the sign, 70 on the sign.
Okay.
Show us a plan for that.
I'll second Tim's motion with the clarification that we have the ability to validate parking inside the courthouse somehow.
Okay.
Yes, that's,
You know, new technology, you're right, new technology is coming up all the time. What you implement today might be out of, you know, not workable 2-3 years down the road. I like that license plate identification system. I'm gonna say if more of that is implemented, that'd probably be getting cheaper as a system, I'm guessing.
With that, you pay an annual software fee for the license plate recognition software, and it's not cheap.
I guess I'm gonna have to go down the free parking at this point and then evaluate, what that all needs. Options we can put meters in at some point, operating, Wi-Fi or whatever. I guess that's the road I would probably go down for me.
I don't wanna do I don't wanna do the meters or the curb stops, for parking are gonna go in there, right?
No, we're not
So
planning on
you're
using those.
planning on having just a bare lot?
Yep.
And plowing that and pushing it whatever way you're gonna push it and stuff. And the reason for the fencing is you think people are gonna jump the curbs?
Well, the problem, the issue is, in speaking with HGM on this, we wouldn't be able to charge people coming into the lot because we would have traffic back down to Pearl Street possibly. So the arm would lift up automatically free, let anybody into the parking lot, and the people would pay to get out of the parking lot. So that's the concept that we are going with.
So if they're gonna come in and get a validated ticket, they're gonna need to get a ticket when they come in. Right?
Yeah, and I don't know how that works, but yeah, say potentially they get a ticket when they come in, the arm lifts up, they grab a ticket. Or possibly grab nothing, maybe they just get a slip from the machine inside that lets them out, you know what I'm saying?
I think when you go to like some of those national museums up in South Dakota, you get a ticket, you go in there and it's a kiosk, you validate your ticket in the machine, they give you a timestamp, and then when you go back out to the arm, you stick that ticket in there, and then it'll let you out. So it's the same thing, if you go there, they give you a ticket, you park anywhere, you come in the courthouse, do your business, validate your ticket, then go out there. That gives you the option of leaving the courthouse, leaving the grounds.
So that system, it doesn't take a credit card, or it doesn't take cash, it just validates your time in there, is that
Validate the
correct?
time that's coming in there. If you ever went
Okay.
to, I think, the mounds up in South Dakota, I can't think of the name of it.
Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore, yeah, when you go there, that's the same system they have there, where you have to validate your ticket. They have kiosk booths in there.
I would certainly be all for doing away with credit cards and cash, having to deal with that. Just validate a person's time in the parking lot. And then if he's overtime spent or whatever, maybe you can find some way to identify that person or car.
Jason?
Well,
if
he's
it's
sitting there
free,
waiting for the arm to go up.
How confident are you to be able to patrol that lot minimally?
I feel confident, other than what Matt's saying, on jury, when they have jury selection. And it happens every time, when we had the employee parking over here in the services building, jurors would park in employees. And then I would be chasing down jurors or, employees or whatever, trying to free up their part, you know what I mean? So I think jury selection is always gonna be the rough thing to kind of address, but.
And I think they do have on the phone that you're supposed to park down at the VA.
But they won't always do, they're not.
Okay, so it's,
March and September are gonna be issues, and then, even bad weather days, people are gonna, people are gonna be people.
Yep, they're gonna park in that lot.
so 269,000 more plus maintenance on it.
No, that includes the 5-year maintenance contract.
Oh, the
Yeah.
269 is?
Yep.
Did we put money in the bond for this property for this?
Yeah, so there was some,
I thought we put a million.
yeah, there's things,
Because we were talking about,
it was in the urban renewal bond.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm still not, figuring out the kiosks and so does each department doesn't have to validate it? Or
No,
have the ability to validate it,
No.
it's just gonna be down
it'll be a central kiosk located in the new lobby out there.
in the lobby down there?
So they validate it themselves?
Yeah, each individual courthouse patron will go up to the parking validation and get their parking validated there.
What stops Tim Wickman and a jury person from doing the same thing?
I don't know how it's gonna work, Tim, cause I don't know if you.
Wouldn't you be
So when
better getting a validation from the treasurer, recorder, auditor,
Right,
planning and zoning, whoever's in there?
yeah, people
get
don't
the
wanna do
code?
that.
You can still validate it on a time.
Who doesn't wanna do that?
I don't think departments wanna be the park validation for the
Would we
courthouse,
have-
that's why we're talking about the.
That'd be another thing during
Advertise it
elections,
as
but
2 hours free parking and the validations for 2 hours. If a juror's parked in there for 8 hours, then they're gonna have to pay 6 hours to get out.
So the kiosk would also, after your scenario, after 2 hours, if that's the limit, they would have to pay, when they stick their,
Yep.
to get it validated, they,
what is
50
it,
cents a
ticket?
50 cents an hour or whatever you're gonna charge for over the 2 hours or whatever that limit is, then they would have to use a credit card or cash or whatever to do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that software looks like, Scott, but I would have to do something like that.
I'm still in favor of free parking out there.
How do we get somebody in here from one of these parking lot control people to actually take some of our questions and give us some answers?
Yeah, because we're kind of stabbing in the dark here.
Okay, I can get somebody in here from them.
Okay,
It might
I'll
help us a
withdraw my
lot,
motion.
Ben.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, I want some control over the lots, but I want our people to be able to get out for free.
Okay.
Somehow, we need to make that happen.
They got something similar, and I'm over there at the federal courthouse in Omaha there. But I'm not sure how that works.
I've been watching videos online trying to look at different concepts, and there's a lot of different options out there, there really is. I can get somebody, this parking kiosk that we're talking about now is Flash, is what it's called. So I know that you can see the videos online, but there's a guy over at HGM or ETI that has researched this, and he could probably answer all your questions. So I can get him scheduled next week.
I just from my own experience, over time, if it's free, they're just gonna erode at that. I mean, it's just gonna,
I think you're 100% correct, Scott. It might work for a year or so, and then it's gonna turn into a nightmare.
What I'm gonna say is I think technology will probably take over at some point. I mean, what's in place now is gonna be outdated at some point. I do not like the idea of having credit cards or cash that you have to pay a kiosk to get out. I mean, I don't like that idea. I don't, but I do like the idea of trying to identify vehicles that have been for a certain amount of time, acceptable amount of time or not acceptable amount of time, and identify those vehicles that can be, identified.
Well,
I like that idea. How you do that, I don't know.
we can look into that option too. I don't know how you do that. I mean,
You talk video surveillance type of stuff? or-
right. I mean, you can probably get a notification if a license plate has been in your lot for X amount of time without being seen exiting.
Okay. And then the jurors or whoever is up for jury, put the kiosk down at the VA parking lot. And they have to, whatever they participate in, they have to
Then we're
have.
gonna have a bunch of money in that also.
well, just so you're clear, the kiosk is in the building, not out there.
Well, you'd have two. There's one out there too as well.
Oh, there is.
So,
That's where you
Over
get your ticket.
$269 by that point.
well, or pay, yeah. I mean, if you didn't get your parking validated, then you would have to pay, so.
I would like to ask a question. We talked about $1 million for the parking lot. Wasn't that including this over here?
Joe, I think that was a,
No, because.
I don't know, Mitch, let's have Mitch take another look at it, figure out exactly what the money we put.
I think we got some
put aside
questions, but I am for the free, so.
I can get some of the.
We can still make it free with the kiosk.
Can we, I'm okay with, I understand the part about controlling it. So should we table this motion?
Yeah. We're not in a rush. We can just say no decision. We don't have to do anything.
And just let it go?
Yep.
Let it fail?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, it's not failing, it's just We're not
No
making-
action
We're gonna
taken.
get some more information.
All right. Jason, Ben, thanks for coming in.
Side.
Really, we got a lot of questions. Appreciate your time.
This is all for 62 parking spaces, is that right?
Correct.
So just one question real quick, Jason. So if hypothetically, if you would go out there and put bags over all those meters for the next 60 days, what do you suppose is gonna happen?
Don't know. Do an experiment.
Yeah, there you go.
Free for all?
Well, I think it would be okay until, like, Matt said, we'd have a jury selection and then it would be
Till next
full.
Tuesday.
We got a snow and an ice storm coming. Then how's it gonna look?
I understand the plowing thing and getting rid of those meters and making the maintenance wise. I understand getting that done, without a doubt.
Yeah, the meters, getting rid of the meters is probably our main prerogative as far as snow removal and, parking lot maintenance, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the info.
thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Okay, next up, Mark Shoemaker, Director Conservation, and Jana Lemrick, Director Human Resources. Discussion and/or decision on pay for chairlift operator position.
Told you I'd be back. This
Any
is,
tails?
what's that?
Bring us any tails?
No. I didn't. This is, the chairlift operator position is currently at $13 to $14 an hour. And we're just requesting to bump that top dollar up to $15 an hour, so another dollar, so it'd be $13 to $15 an hour. There's one person that would kind of fall into that, that's gonna get bumped up. And, it's basically another position that's kind of hard to attract people to work. You're outside pretty much all the time
You
doing
have
the
to be
job, so.
18. This isn't one that the 14 to 17-year-olds could do. You have to be 18 for this role.
And you've got 4 more weeks of operation out there.
Yeah, and last I looked for our seasonal part-time pay, we were just at, if not a little over 50% spent, so we're doing good in that budget item.
What are we in now, 6th week, 7th?
We started on the 21st of December, so 8th week.
Maybe close to 8.
Yep. Yeah, and we're kind of depending on, there's plenty of snow up there. If we get warm weather for a while, which we're going to, it's gonna be fine up there, so. I'm thinking the first week and in March, maybe second weekend. Could be the end of it, but we'll see. We'll go as long as we can.
Is there 2 chairlift operators?
There's 2 chairlifts. There's more than 2 chairlift operators,
Right.
but there's the quad and then there's the double, so there's 2 going at the same time.
But is there 2 people at each one of those?
Should be 1 at the bottom and there's 1 at the top too, yeah.
Okay.
But there's a couple other people there helping people on the lifts and stuff too. There's 3.
Yeah, there may be 2, there may be more than 2. You could do it with 2 people, but you're gonna have to have someone running the chairlift, someone helping them on
Right.
the seats that lift themselves and then helping them get off. So there could be 3 to 4 on each lift, helping people.
Motion,
I'll make that motion.
okay.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to increase the pay to $15 an hour. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Those opposed, same sign.
Did you second that, Jeff?
And
Motion approved.
just to clarify your minutes, Melvin, it's the range 13 to 15.
15, I
Yes.
got that this time. I've been paying attention.
Thank you, Jan.
You're welcome. Will you be back, Mark?
I've got 2 more here.
I know, but will you be
Oh,
back?
I hope not, but we'll see.
Mark
Probably.
Shoemaker, Director of Conservation, discussion and/or decision to approve and authorize chairman to sign farm lease with Hanson Brothers Land and Livestock Limited Liability Company for property legally described as Crescent Township 22-76-44 GL1 W12 northwest south of ditch EXCRR. How's that?
That's good. That's, the Crescent Wildlife Area is up kind of by Crescent Interstate and the highway there. It was a FEMA buyout several years ago.
Right.
Back in 2019, it flooded quite a bit and we had a lot of thistle and leafy spurge come into those locations and in the pheasant habitat across the interstate. We decided the best thing to do there would be to cash rent portions of this farm, I guess you would say. There's 12.6 acres that we would lease out. This will be the second time we leased it. I think we leased it for 2 years prior, and it was the Hanson brothers that leased it then. They were the only one that submitted a proposal this time to lease that out again. It's for $215 for the 12.6 acres. And it's basically to knock down the weeds, get it into a better condition, so when we're ready to plant natives, we can get those back in there.
So that's the northwest corner of that intersection?
Yeah, northwest, yep,
Yeah.
yep. Along the railroad tracks there,
Right.
there was quite a bit of farm ground there originally, so.
You have any control over the herbicide they're putting down, so it won't affect
Yes,
your?
yeah, we have limitations on what they do on their farm lease as far as what they can and can't do.
Do they abut that right now, farming it?
I don't think so, but they're close up there.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, we tried to find someone local and someone close by that could do it. I mean, it's not a big piece, so we figured it would be someone that would want it close by.
Move that, Scott.
No, I will move it.
I'll second it.
And I did have Leanne look at this lease and she modified it. She made it look pretty, so.
Okay, got a motion by Belt, second by Wickman.
This
To
was,
approve?
excuse me, I'm sorry,
No problem.
Chairman. This was 1 year then?
2 years.
2 years, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Mark.
Yep.
Mark Shoemaker, Director of Conservation, discussion and or decision to appoint to the Conservation Board.
Yeah, we have an open position right now. Jerry Mathiasen went off the end of last year. He served 2 terms of someone else that got off the board early. I think we got 6 applicants through NeoGov. I would recommend that we keep Jerry on for a full term so he can actually get into what the Conservation Board is and providing his expertise to us. He's been great so far. He attends all the events and activities, so he's really engaged. And I'd just like to give him the opportunity to do a full term. We did have some good applicants, and I think moving forward, we have someone go off the Conservation Board every year. So I think we'll have a good pool and a good base to attract from in the future, so people know about it.
You have someone go off each year
Each-
based on your,
The rotation, yeah, 5 years
okay.
is the term.
I'll make that motion to appoint Jerry Mathiasen to, say 1 term, or what do you?
Yeah, 1 more term, yeah, a full 5-year term, yeah.
Okay, full 5-year term.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to approve Jerry Mathiasen for another 5-year term. All in favor
Hold on.
signify by.
Hold on, if I can ask
Yeah,
a question.
no problem. Go.
Mark, have you or the conservation team considered an ex officio board member?
Like someone that's been on there previously, or what do you mean?
Like, out of your applicants, this one kind of stands out, and we can bring this person on and they can learn a little bit about the Conservation Department or Conservation Commission, and
Not necessarily,
they don't have any voting power.
okay.
We just sit on it and kind of learn and understand what's going on.
We haven't done that, but I'd entertain that. That'd be good, yeah.
Would you entertain it today?
Who do you have in mind?
There's an individual that applied. Her name's Melissa Head.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, she was one of the applicants that I think would be good, so
She has.
I know her.
She has a desire to serve on that, and I'd like to, we've done that on some of our other committees, and, I would ask you to consider giving that a shot.
Okay.
So
Let's finish this.
we put
Let's
that.
finish Jerry
put that on the
Mathiasen, and then
agenda
we can-
for next time or something.
Jerry Mathiasen, was he connected with the Council Bluffs Chamber of Commerce?
He was with, he was on the Iowa West Foundation. And then he was with the Potawatomi County Community Foundation.
Okay.
And I know he's done a lot of work in government with Branstad and with the government in the state, so.
Yeah. Yeah, he's.
Okay, so what is it
Let's do the Jerry Mathiasen. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, Jerry's on there.
Okay, and he doesn't have to be sworn in. I think it's just a reappointment, so.
Okay. Do we need to put this on the agenda for next week for the ex officios?
I think we can do it right now.
It's germane to what was on the agenda.
Pardon me?
It's germane to what's on the agenda.
All right, I'll make a motion that we appoint Melissa Head as an ex officio member of the Conservation Board.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve Melissa Head for an ex officio. All in favor signify by.
Hold on, I have a
Yep,
question.
yep, go ahead.
Okay, so the Conservation Board, I'm assuming, Tim, since you're knowledgeable of who has applied, you're the representative for the supervisors?
I serve on that with Brian Shea.
Okay, because I haven't heard anything about openings on the Conservation Board or what the,
We posted those, I believe, before you came on.
okay,
Oh,
so I wasn't aware that there was an application process going on. So maybe you're just suggesting one ex officio.
Yeah, and,
I think we
you
ought
know,
to do two.
We would, I'll make a comment to you after the meeting. But I don't think, our conservation team is very strong. Our Conservation Commission team is very strong. And they're relatively young too. So unless they, and I've served as a liaison on that committee since I've started. They're a very active, wonderful commission. They work their tails off.
Okay.
I don't
I've seen
think-
them out in the public. I do know how active they are.
I don't think that there's a need to put any more on than that. Although, you know, the applicants, we'll keep them and maybe we don't have to do it next time. This is just for this one.
Yeah, this is the first time we actually had an application process.
Mhm.
It was typically like a letter of intent or interest along with their interest of why they want to serve, and it was just presented to the Board of Supervisors, and that's kind of how we chose. This is the first time we went through the application process.
And I'm sure the bylaws support all of this process.
Yeah.
Those are ours. The application process?
Well, the bylaws for the Conservation Board identify how
Well,
the
it's-
membership is
Yeah,
determined.
they're appointed by the Board of Supervisors. So,
Okay,
So that.
We can put 15 ex officios on there if you want to. I mean, we don't have.
no.
I'm just saying, as Mark said, that we used to do it this way, just by letter of intent or something like that.
Right,
But we ran into a couple of issues with another commission, and we started the application process. And the board at that time felt that if you're gonna do it for one, we're gonna do it for all of them. So that, this is the first time we've done this.
okay,
That's
so
a true
I'm just
statement.
catching up from a history standpoint.
Right,
So
okay.
I'm
Well,
making sure that we've got precedent
I'm
set.
with you, I'm catching up too, so the applicants, we didn't, as a board, get to review those.
no,
You reviewed them,
Yeah.
right? Not your conservation board,
right.
okay.
So anyone else you'd second for the ex officio?
The application process closed. I think there was a superintendent from Underwood that was interested. I can't remember his name.
Ed?
Ed,
Yeah,
Hawk?
I think so, yeah,
Okay.
but he knows next time, the process, so.
He'd probably be good. But you only had 5,
1.5, yeah.
okay.
I don't want any more.
You want 3?
No, 5's good. I like 5.
Okay. Did you make a motion for that?
I did.
And you seconded?
Yeah.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, Melissa heads ex officio. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for coming in. Dixie Wilson, Assistant Finance and Tax Officer. Discussion and/or decision to approve, disallow the following applications made to the assessor's office. Homestead, 186 recommended allowed, 0 recommended.
Right there, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that is incorrect on the disallowed for the homestead. That should read 11.
I'm sorry. Okay.
So the minutes need to be adjusted. That was due to my error.
11 recommended disallowed. Military, 21 recommended allowed, 2 recommended disallowed. Disabled veteran homestead, 7 recommended allowed, 0 recommended disallowed. Family farm, 10 recommended allowed, 0 recommended disallowed.
I'll make that motion for you.
Okay?
And make note that the 2 disallowed on the military were for Nebraska National Guard. And the homestead disallowed were because they reside in a home already receiving a homestead exemption.
Okay.
You talking about the 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, didn't I say that?
No,
No,
you
you
did
said
on
the other one.
the 2.
Already said homestead.
Okay.
No, the number, because it was a 0.
All 11 of them just didn't live in there, in that house.
Got a motion. I need a second.
Second.
Susan seconds. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Update from everybody that's been on a committee meeting?
Well, the 2 that I had from last week were, I brought that, it's probably on the desk, a map, and they're not increasing their dues. I guess that's the best news. And their packet is on almost 200 pages, and they could do it on a laptop at the meeting. So, and then the other one was Fort Judicial District, and everything looks good down there, except for the director, Kip Shanks, brought to the attention that the legislature was looking at doing some combination of the judicial in their governor's reorganization, which he wasn't in support of, and neither was the rest of the districts, I guess. So
Okay.
we'll see where that goes.
Susan?
I attended the ISAC Supervisors meeting in Des Moines last Thursday, and we met with our legislatures, and the big takeaway from there is there's a big budget miscalculation that was made at the state level. They were very adamant when they told us, they stood up on the stage and said, "This is not your fault," addressing all the supervisors in the room, but he said, "It is your problem to fix." So that was my big takeaway. And then this dark cloud fell over the room and,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And then I also met with Patricia from Promise Partners, and I've met with Doug Reed at the EMA just to learn more about those entities, so.
Did you do any, Jeff?
No.
Tim?
No, I'd like to just, maybe we can take turns doing this, or I can continue to do it. We had a couple of employees have an anniversary. Ashley Gray in Suzanne's department in mental health. It was their 15th year anniversary. And Amy Job, who is in community services with Suzanne, it's her 5th year. So congratulations to those two and appreciate their effort.
Good. There were some of us went out to the Oakland dinner for East Pot Soil and Water District. They had an awards banquet and they showed what they've been doing. It's pretty neat, pretty active group. They were the ones with the beaver problem. We'll leave that be. And then, the Les Hills Alliance forgot to email me that they moved their meeting. So I went up there and they weren't there, and they moved it to this week, like right now. So, not good. Okay, so I'm not gonna make that. And then, I think that was pretty much it. Oh, the Iowa West, the Imagine Hour, they had a luncheon last week up at Caddy's, and they went over some things.
I was there, yeah.
You was there. Did you go? You didn't go.
I had a conflict.
That was really impressive, so. And, they went over that and they were compiling all their information, so. Okay,
Are they, do you know, are they doing something in the out in the rural with that?
they got all their information and they're working each and every end of it, so.
Okay.
They got a little ways to go.
I don't know who the speaker was, or who was in charge of that, but she was very good. I mean, she led a very,
Brenda Mainwaring,
okay, she was very good
yeah,
at
she,
leading that.
Brenda was very good.
And getting people to participate.
Yeah, the place was full, wasn't it?
It was.
She is the CEO of the Iowa West Foundation,
Okay.
so you know.
She knows her stuff.
Yes, she does. I would say so. Okay, next up, public comments. We got anybody signed up? No? Nobody signed up.
All right.
Next up, we go into closed
Chairman Shea,
session.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 20.17, parent 3, for discussion decision on labor negotiations, collective bargaining matters.
Second?
Got a motion and a second to go into closed session. Melvin, will you do a roll call?